What the frickin' heck is up, everyone? So another day, another video on the old channel. So I'm gonna be showing you guys a car that I picked up, another Acura. You know, I got rid of my white car. I don't know if I ever showed you guys that one, the white TLX. I'll put a picture, you know, right now. And, you know, I sold this one. I had actually bought that right when I was out of college, and I got tired of the payment. So I picked up a 2004 Acura TSX, and I absolutely love it. In my opinion, the Japanese Acuras from that era, I think, are some of the best cars that have ever been made. A lot of quality for the price. So one thing I did is I found some wheels that are compatible, you know, with the hub diameter. And there's some Mazda Speed 3 wheels. So they're 18s instead of 17s that are on the TSX. I'll show some pictures of the TSX or some videos of the TSX once I get over to a new place that I'm living. It's gonna kind of be the headquarters. I got a little banner coming in with a funny name. And more to that story here soon. But these guys, I'm gonna get the tires off of them and then get them sandblasted and paint them like a dark gray. And I think it's really gonna complement the look of the car. You know, it's black, so you know, like some gray wheels, I think are really gonna look good. And what I've been working on, just real quick, is, you know, taking these hubcaps, and if you look at them, you know, they had these Mazda symbols in them, and they have these little raised up things. So I've been taking the Dremel to them. You know, on this one, you can see I took the Dremel and then, you know, got a razor blade underneath there and got them out. And I think what I'm going to be able to do is put just a little bit of Bondo on those and paint them black. So, you know, finally starting this project, and definitely excited to, you know, get a few things done on here. And I did buy some parts or some fairings for the car from a place called Aeroworks, and I'll put their website in the description. They make some really good fairings. You know, I used them on the Prelude, and really good quality. So those should be coming in a couple weeks, and I'll work to get those on there, and also need to do some work to the bumpers, and then I'll be switching out the side skirts as well. So should be pretty sweet, and excited to get started on this project. I'm gonna get this done and then bring my Camaro over to the other garage, and I'll show you guys that garage here now. All right, dude, so we made it back over here to the new garage, and I have, you know, got my banner for the new garage, and I'll show you guys with a few beautiful clips here. And I haven't quite told you the inside joke that this is from, but I think I'll put a little cutscene here. Fresh out of work and feeling pretty good. Beautiful day outside, waiting in the ferry line. So, pretty good, Daddy. It's a phrase that's pretty hilarious in my opinion. But so where it came from, I was staying in an Airbnb years back with some friends from college, and it was like a shared Airbnb, you know. And we're just talking, you know, having a good time, having a couple drinks. And then this guy walks in, and, you know, he sits down, and, you know, we would make a statement or whatever, and the guy would look over and make the weirdest faces, like, just weird faces. And I'm like, who the freaking heck is this guy? So I start talking to him, and he said, or he had some vegan food on the table, and I'm like, oh, you know, what, you know, provoked you to be vegan? And he's like, yeah, you know, when I was younger, you know, my dad would have cookouts, he would cook stuff on the barbecue, and, you know, and I would be his taste tester, and one day, you know, he gave me a piece of meat, and he said, how is it, son? And I said, it's pretty good, Daddy. And ever since I heard that, I think it's just hilarious. And then, but one day his dad gave him, you know, some stuff on the barbecue, and he ate it, and it made him like super sick. So then he became vegan. So that's the origin story of Pretty Good Daddy. So that's a funny anecdote, and you guys can see the banner up there. So Pretty Good Daddy is definitely, you know, it's kind of a phrase that I want to go, or that I want to have along with, you know, a company that I want to create someday. Like maybe if it Or if you have a nice car, I'll come out and look at it, and it can be pretty good daddy certified. It's kind of a funny idea. But yeah, this is my 2004 TSX. So I sold my white 2019 TLX because I didn't really think it was that great of a car, and I have a real short commute to work, so I didn't need something so fancy. So I'm gonna work on you know, getting some of these real bad scratches out of the rear bumper. I think it got ran into a couple things, so I want to fix that up and kind of blend it in. Might be a little bit of figuring out on how to blend it in, but I'm gonna work on getting this sanded, and I'm also gonna take off, or sooner or later work on the front bumper as well, because I have to put those fairings on, and I think it's easier to paint you know, with it off. And I am gonna work on this garage. I have these two sockets up here, which are on a separate circuit. You know, there's not that much electricity out here, but it's on a separate circuit than this one. So I think I'm gonna be able to convert those to some power outlets and put some linkable LED lights, and then probably two under here as well, which will definitely give us, or give me a lot more light to work with, which is always good. Got the old bumper off of there. So a lot easier than I expected, to be honest with you. So just like 3 screws over here, 3 screws over here, and then 2 bolts, and then a couple fasteners on the bottom, and then it's off. So I'm gonna probably clean this up, hit it with some soap and water, and then throw it on some sawhorse, just put the car outside so it doesn't get any more dusty, and then keep grinding on it. Got the old bumper pretty well sanded. So there was definitely, you know, kind of a problem area right here where it had some cracking, and I think there was some Bondo in here, and maybe it got hit or something and then kind of cracked. So I'm definitely gonna have to put a coat of Bondo on there. But kind of what I want to do, I need to clean, you know, the inner workings of this guy and get all the dirt off of it, but I kind of want to get the front bumper off of the car as well, so I can basically take them, you know, to our paint booth and get them some urethane primer on them. I'm a little worried about the blending, you know, how it's going to blend, given that it's going to be new paint on here and, you know, older paint on the car. Got the front bumper off. So this thing has definitely been in a car accident in the front, because you can see, let's see here, let me get my phone out and shine the light on here. The radiator's pretty smushed in on this right hand side, you can see, but it looks like the core support is in decent shape. But I do have a line on a car, you know, down south of here, and I might end up getting, you know, quite a few parts of it. I need fender liners. Also, this thing you can see is pretty damaged. It might be just worthwhile to get a whole front end and just put it on. The hood is actually, I think a tree fell on the car. I can show you up here in a little bit. There's some roof damage, and the hood is, you know, pretty wavy. I think it's probably fixable, but it might be just easier, given that, you know, these parts are pretty readily available for these cars. Just get a new hood. And you know, this got broken over here. I don't know if it's pretty typical that it gets broken, but you know, all this stuff kind of needs to be replaced. So you know, this thing is on there good when I have all these fairings on there. Where'd the frickin' bumpers go? They actually fit in the back of the TSX. Gotta love a helicopter going by, but pretty sweet that they both fit in there. So I got them pretty well sanded. I should have time-lapsed it, but sometimes setting up the time-lapse and everything can be kind of a pain. And but I'm gonna, you know, I got them all sanded, and I'm gonna get them painted with some polyurethane primer, hopefully this weekend. Hopefully they're dry enough to, you know, kind of put on the car. I don't want to, you know, scratch them up too bad putting them in the back, but we'll see what I do there. I might leave them over there. It might be easier actually to work on them, kind of, you know, deciding on that one. And one thing I'll show you guys is I got some headlights for this car. You know, those of you that know, these cars were actually made in Japan and Europe, and they're the Honda Accord, and they in Japan they had the Euro R. So I got some Euro R headlights, some OEM ones that were in really good condition, and they have the clear side marker light or side markers and also clear lenses in there, so that'll look really clean on there. These headlights I have on here are freaking junk. I think someone kind of Joe dolled this thing together. Got some paint mixed up, so made the decision. I think I'm gonna scrap this bumper out. You know, it's kind of an aftermarket one, and I don't think it fits that well. The rear bumper is the OE like Honda one, and I think I'm gonna find the same thing because I want a, you know, nice fit and finish on this car. So I have this paint booth nice and warm. Gotta love that heater, makes a nice noise. But I am a little bit concerned about some of these cracks in the bumper, but I'm just gonna send it. There's some up here as well. I think they're like stress cracks from where, you know, it got impacted. But you know what, it's a $5,000 car, I think it'll be fine. As you saw, got some primer on this old bumper. So, you know, I've been sanding it all, and I do have to put a little Bondo in this area, but overall it looks really good. Definitely a lot of work to get it sanded, but I'm also gonna be getting, I don't know if I mentioned, getting, you know, some front body panels. The front end's been replaced, so junk that guy. And yeah, once I get this all sanded and straightened out, then, you know, it's onto some epoxy and then some of that black paint that was on there. Hoping that it blends pretty good. So I'm probably gonna switch gears. You know, I got way too many projects going on, too many cars, but I'm gonna go work on Stu for now. So I'm kind of doing, you know, multiple projects at once, but we're making headway. All right, working to get this side skirt off, got the other side off, but you know, there's some screws that hold it to the fender liner up here, and then 3 back here, you know, 3 and 3, and then there's some clips underneath, and once you get all the clips off, then you just push it back, and then I kind of have it pushed back, then it just pops off. It can be kind of a little bit difficult, but it goes, so then it comes, these clips, once you push them backwards, then it comes right off. Got it pretty well fared out, so definitely good practice for the Nova, doing more of this Bondo work. I'm definitely not an expert at it, but you know, getting it closer and closer. So once I get this all, you know, Bondoed in, then another coat of primer in this area, then I'll block it, and then it should be nice and flat. Pretty stoked. So you guys saw me polishing this hood. So I found this hood, this fender, and an OEM bumper for the TSX. You know, it showed, it's funny, the guy thought it wasn't OEM, but if you look on here, you know, it shows that it's, I think it might be like a newer bumper or something, because it shows like a date from 2020. So a little bit of minor damage on here. I think definitely pretty fixable. I gotta just fiberglass it here, similar kind of to what I had to do on the Prelude bumper. And then probably do some pop riveting here or something, and a little bit bent, you know, kind of down in here, and a little ding here. But, you know, OEM is always better, you know, than something aftermarket. I think you guys can probably see that from these Nova videos. You know, that quarter panel doesn't fit perfectly. So yeah, I've been polishing on that guy. I just got to polish this one up, and then I think I'm going to get the right-hand fender from the guy as well. It's a little bit damaged. This won't have to be painted. This won't have to be painted. That will have to be painted with the fairing on it. And then the right-hand fender will also have to be painted. And same with the rear bumper. So that's kind of the extent of the paint work on this project. And definitely quite a bit of work, you know, involved in it. Making some real good progress with this fairing. So really nice. This has provisions to use the original, you know, I think they're kind of A-spec or you know, fairing mounting locations or whatever. So, you know, there's 4 bolts that I put in here. You could use clips, but I definitely think bolts are going to be a little more secure. And I am putting 1 bolt here and 1 bolt here. You know, you won't really see it, and the fitment on this is actually pretty dang good. You know, it fits on here pretty good. I'm trying to figure out what adhesive to put on here. I'm gonna, like, you know, ask one of my Facebook groups as to what adhesive I could put on here so it doesn't kind of shift back and forth. I'm thinking maybe using seam sealer, but I'm not sure if it's kind of right for this application. So this one, I do have to, you know, put a couple shims in here, and then I'll put a couple more bolts this way, and maybe put like a little bracket that holds it right here, just so it's nice and firm on here. And I do have it on the front bumper as well. It definitely, you know, in certain areas it does need to be ground and kind of fitted up, but what can you expect? It was only like 600 bucks, you know, shipped here, so not too bad. I kind of went through the same thing on the Prelude. It's the same brand of body kit, and for the price, I don't think it's, you know, it fits too bad. Got some pretty freaking sweet lights out here. So, you know, obviously the car is in here, the TSX, but it's over in, you know, our other garage, or my other garage. And I have the Camaro out here. I'm actually going to a little exotic car meet, so I had to bring the American Muscle out. And this garage, one thing I need to do in here is fix this hole in the concrete. The main water line was underneath there. But I've made really good headway on the TSX, and I'll show you guys here now. So you guys can see, basically got, you know, these fairings attached here, and now I got these frickin' wheels in here. So got them hung up. These are Mazda wheels, 18 inches. You know, I'm about to spray some epoxy on them. And, you know, I don't think I'll time lapse it. It's kind of, you guys have seen me paint before. And the hubcaps are now here ready to be epoxied. So they should come out super sweet. Gonna paint them with that epoxy, and then some Watkins Glen gray. So that'll be pretty cool, you know, color. And I'll film it after I epoxy them, after the color, and after. Wheels freaking came out perfect, so looks really freaking good. These are gonna look really great on the TSX. So yeah, you guys saw, so basically, you know, epoxy sealer, base coat with the gray metallic, and then, you know, a coat of clear that we see now. So what I need to do is get hub-centric rings. These are a little bigger center hole diameter, and then I also want to get some wheel spacers so it's nice and in line with the body. And it should look really good. So mission accomplished on here. Definitely fired up. So I worked at my other shop and got these side skirts to fit pretty much perfectly. So, you know, a lot of work in like areas like this with the Dremel, and same with the upper surface here and some on the bottom. So the way I have this secured, if you look, so I have it drilled and, you know, a screw to the fender right here. And then I made a little bracket that comes down like this and attaches it here. And then down here, you can see there's a bolt there, and then you know, there's 3 bolts down here. So I made these little like nut plates, kinda. You can see it here, and welded it on this side to the you know, the pinch weld on the bottom of the car. And then I'm able to put a screw through the side skirt. And then in the back, you know, you just kind of use the provision that was there for you know, the original side skirt. So a screw here, and then just a couple screws here. So you know, it's nice and sturdy on there. Definitely a little bit of moving it around to be sure it's in the right spot, and I have a good gap down here, but looks pretty good, you know, definitely good enough. So I'm gonna work on the other side and, you know, get the plates, nut plates on there, and get it all dialed in. Then I'll take them back off, primer them, and you know, get them ready for paint basically. And I think I'm gonna cap the video off here. So this is kind of round one of the, you know, TSX build. Definitely a lot more to come. I still gotta paint these, you know, with the black, and also get some wheels and tires for the TSX, and also got a spoiler coming in. So more to come. And you know, I have sporadically been trying to film, been kind of running all around, too many projects going on. So thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Hey, thanks for stopping into the Bluebird Enterprises YouTube channel. If you like what you saw, give me a big thumbs up, and hopefully you're leaving with a bigger smile than you came in with.